As it turns out, this was a very sophisticated, skillful deceit, and like Malcolm Rifkind, I fell into it. So, of course, I'm mortified that I did do so, and that this is a distraction, above all for Ed Miliband and for my party, and that's why I've detached myself from the parliamentary party. But I just want to emphasise here that so far as work I've done as a Member of Parliament, it's been absolutely, strictly in accordance with the rules, and not just the letter of the rules, but the spirit, and that this conversation was apparently not about what I did as a Member of Parliament, but about what I do when I retire as a Member of Parliament in about 6 weeks' time.
You describe it as a skillful deception, but you were still caught up in it. And you, as such an experienced politician, somebody who's held such high office, must realise the perception of this is awful.
Well, look, of course I realise that it's going to write the kind of newspaper headlines that it has. And the difficulty is...
But forgive me, I mean, you're dismissing that as you know, the way it'll be written up. What do you think most normal people in this country think about a former Foreign Secretary offering for £5,000 a day to go and work for a lobbying company after all the rows of the past few years?
Well, let me just put that into context. I've, over the last 4.5 years, done a number of speaking engagements, and I was talking about the fact that that is what people, amazingly, have been willing to pay me. I may say, just so that we realise what sort of environment we're in, that on a couple of occasions I've done those alongside BBC presenters, who I dare say were paid exactly the same as me. But
not me, I should add.
In my case, every single sum that I've been paid has been declared within 28 days on the House of Commons register. I've often talked in Blackburn, in my constituency, about how much I've been lucky enough to earn outside the House of Commons over the last 4.5 years, and I've done so not least in the context of the disparity between incomes, and why I think I should pay 50%.
Okay, so for a speaking engagement, Mr. Straw, £5,000. What were you proposing to do for £5,000 a day for this business?
I was not in a negotiation. They hadn't come forward with a proposition, and they didn't, as it happens. And the interesting thing about this was that, as with about 5 other invitations to talk to people about what I did after I'd finished, this just drifted away, and I thought their story sat. I didn't think it was a sting.
Okay, but you have suspended yourself.
Yes, of course.
So is that an admission that you realise this is an awkward, potentially grey area for you, even if you have done nothing wrong?
No, it's not an admission that it's an awkward grey area for me in terms of the rules. I've acted with complete probity and integrity throughout my parliamentary career, and I shall continue to do so when I finish as a Member of Parliament in 6 weeks' time. It was obviously necessary for me to refer myself to the House of Commons Commissioner because some questions have been raised, for example, about the use of my room in the Commons, which can be dealt with.
Well, it has been accepted by Parliament and by our law for many, many years that members of Parliament, as long as they declare any outside business interests in the register, are free to take other employment. And what I do, 75% of my time is my parliamentary work. 20%, 25% at most are a number of business interests I have. And I think it's very important that that should be possible. I know the Labour Party doesn't like it, and many other people perhaps don't believe that MPs should have second jobs. But, you know, there's a large body of public opinion that takes a different view. We don't want, they say, to see full-time politicians who know nothing about the rest of the world, and actually rather like knowing that members of Parliament have interests in other parts of the economy.
But isn't there a difference between an MP having an outside interest, such as a previous profession they might have been involved in as a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, and this sense of an MP offering themselves for hire?
Well, hold on. First of all, I did not offer myself. I don't offer myself. I was approached by this particular alleged company. They said, we are wanting to establish an advisory board because we want to consider investment in Britain and elsewhere in Europe. We want a number of senior business people and senior political people on that advisory board because we want to better understand the regulatory system, the financial system, political system of the countries we might be investing in. That's how it happened. So they said, will you talk to us? And I said, yes, of course I'll talk to you, but no commitment either way.
Well, you did not offer yourself for hire, but you entertained the invitation.
Well, you see, you use that expression for hire as if there's something, it's a derogatory expression. I'm sorry, it is part of the whole world we all live in that people who have particular experience and skills try to use those skills to help their standard of living. Very, very simple. And my experience for many years has been in foreign policy and European issues. Most of the discussions I had with this so-called company, probably 80% of them were nothing to do with the United Kingdom. They were wanting my views on investment in parts of continental Europe, in France, Germany, Eastern Europe, and so forth. Now, these are areas that I have experience of, and if people are willing to remunerate me for sharing that experience, Parliament approves of it, the law permits it, it's in the register of members' interests. You can look at the register and you'll see all my business interests, as you will of any other member of Parliament.